Jarvis, was the move surprising to you, or did you kind of feel this was coming?
Like I said to you guys yesterday, it wasn't my decision, and but whatever. I think the ownership did what they felt was best for the organization and for us as players.
How can, there's been so much change, potentially more change, how can change be turned into a good thing?
Well, I think now just our outlook and sorry, excuse me. What we have in the locker room, as far as from a talent standpoint, and guys having another year of experience under their belt. Ownership is gonna, look for somebody that can, lead it in the right direction.
Jarvis, what's most needed here? Is it structure, is it discipline? What's needed?
It's just leadership. Leadership.
The stuff, well, maybe you've already said it a couple of ways, but the stuff late in the season, being down at Arizona by 21 points against a team that had a poor year and losing to Cincinnati yesterday, it just seems like the team got farther away than closer. And, obviously the fan base wants to see a contender one of these decades before too long. Is it that? Well, you're going to say it's not that far away, but how can you explain? Well, it's not as far away as it looked in those Arizona and Cincinnati games.
Yeah, I think the biggest things a lot of times in those games, we this year I think relied on plays and not players as much. Especially from the offensive side of the ball. And that's things that we can all get better at. There's things that, myself personally have made mistakes on. But, again, there's things that we got to learn from and try to move forward with. But, to answer your question, a lot is going to be answered with, the head coaching position and how other positions get answered.
Jarvis, why do you say leadership? Was it lacking this year? Why do you say that's what's mainly needed?
I would say it was lacking. I just say that the identity of who we are and who we're trying to become, and making sure that I know there was no doubt. How about that? I know there was no doubt that the people here that were trying to win. Everybody in this organization were trying to win. I just didn't think we knew how to do it.
Jarvis, at some point along the way, you guys had to figure out this year is not going the way we anticipated. When was that?
Maybe the Arizona game. If you look back throughout the season, we played a lot of playoff teams. Really tough. We could have beat a lot of playoff teams. A lot of teams that, we four plays on the 5-yard line, and but the Arizona game, was one of those games where. We seemed to not be able to really do anything until the second half from an offensive standpoint. And by that time, the defense had played a lot of snaps and against a no-huddle team and kind of got worn down a little bit. And but at the end of the day, it's a team game, and you need all phases to step up and do their job, from open the kickoff.
I'm sorry. Do you think this locker room needs a head coach who's had experience as a head coach before?
I think it can help. I do think it can help.
Especially because this locker room hasn't had a ton of winning experience,
Yeah.
Or this organization has had a lot of winning experience.
Yeah, John, D, and Jimmy, they've been doing a great job of getting guys in here that have played on other teams, that have won something or had a winning season, not necessarily made to the playoffs, So they're trying to get the right guys in here. We have a great locker room, we really do. We just got to find a way to add some more pieces and put it all together.
When you think about the kind of leader you want, is there certain qualities you value that you think you guys need? I don't know, discipline or just a presence. So, I don't know. Do you have anything in kind of your perfect kind of leader?
Yeah, just all the things that a leader possess. I think it's a little bit of everything. But again, that's something that I know personally for me. I'm going to just say that I trust the ownership. I trust Mr. Dorsey. Everybody upstairs to go out and find the right guy for this organization, and then for us as players.
Jarvis, at what point in this season did you lose faith in the leadership?
I never lost faith.
Why did you need new leadership?
Well, I just think that we lacked it at times.
What was the first time?
I just think that, you know, there are always times in seasons where things happen. You know, guys get hurt, off the field issues. You know, a bunch of different things happen. You know, in crucial points in the game, in breaking points of the game, being able to hold your composure, being able to, you know, talk to each other, treat everybody with respect. You know, I just think at times, you know, there was a lack thereof.
Do you think Jarvis said that you guys, looking back, maybe you did start to believe the hype that you guys were going to be a great team before you started playing?
Well, I think you know, we definitely had the capabilities, have the capability of being a great team, and we knew our potential. And you know, one of the things throughout the year that I spoke to you guys about is just trying to find a way to tap into it constantly. You know, and you know, we didn't do it enough.
And why do you suppose that is?
I really don't know. You know, it's a tough game. You know, and a lot goes into a team sport. You know, like I said, all phases have to be playing at their best at all times. You know, and if you have one phase out of line, and it can hurt you.
Can you explain a little bit about what you mean when you say, you know, it was focused more on the plays and the players? What do you mean by that specifically?
You know, there's just opportunities in games where, you know, I know on the outside that we could have taken advantage of, you know, teams, you know, weaknesses, you know, and that we didn't, and you know, we just didn't really know what the plan was or what we were trying to do, or I don't think we ever really found our identity.
Joe Antonio said that everyone in the organization, from ownership, front office, all the way down, needs to look in the mirror this offseason and figure out what they can do to help this franchise achieve what everyone wants them to. From your perspective, do you agree with that? And what do you think that ultimately means?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, you guys have been here for a while. You guys have covered the team for a long time, and this may have been the most talent that we've had in one room, that you've seen in one room for this amount of time, and you still have more time, you know, and you don't want to lose that. You know, you want to take advantage of it when you have it, and so I would agree with Joel.
When you talk about leadership, do you think that from within the players themselves, they're lacking a strong voice to bring everybody together? I mean, Ray Lewis has always used an example. Is there that strong voice among the team, and do you think you might need someone like that?
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. You know, that's one thing for a guy to be a vocal leader, or which I do think we have. We have guys that lead inside the locker room, but leadership, you know, comes from a lot of other different places as well. You know, and I would say that respecting our opponent, respecting the guys that we play with and coach next to, you know, are some things that you never should lose its value that maybe had.
Jarvis, you talked about the plays and, you know, kind of being prepared. A lot of people thought maybe Freddie was a little overwhelmed with play calling and head coaching. Guys were still lining up wrong late in the season. Did you ever get that sense that maybe it was a little too much for him to call plays and be the head coach?
You know, I think Freddie was, you know, it was a hardworking guy, and you know, he came to work, and you know, he called plays to put us in the best position possible. You know, I wouldn't say that you know, he necessarily was in over his head. I just say that, you know, he tried his best to make sure that we had an opportunity to win the game.
Now that the season's over, could you address, you know, how much you and, I don't know if you want to get into Odell too, but how much the injuries and, you know, dealing with those hampered you guys all season, and how much freer you could be next week?
Yeah, bless you. Yeah, it was something that, you know, we dealt with. I got an MRI today, so I'll know Friday about the future of, you know, potential surgery and things like that. Sending the pictures and stuff to specialists right now, and we'll know something back after the holidays.
Can you be like 75% of what you think you could be? I mean, put a number on it? Or?
This year?
Yeah.
Yeah, about 75, 80% maybe. Maybe.
Similar for Odell too?
That's a question you might have to ask him.
Hey, Jarvis, where's your, I mean, Baker had his issues this year. You talked yesterday about needing to cut back on the interceptions. I mean, you've played with him now for a couple of years. Do you still think he's the guy that is the right, long-term franchise quarterback?
No, most definitely. I think that in a lot of cases with interceptions and things like that, for me, just speaking on myself, like, I've been responsible for a couple of them, but, a lot of times, people don't see that. They just see where the ball goes and who's throwing it and if the other team makes a play on it. So I think that for me, just looking at him, I think, it's one of the things that, he's aware of. Obviously, he's talked to you about and he's aware of, and that it's no doubt in my mind that he's going to, get corrected. And, we'll do a better job from a receiver standpoint to make sure that we can prevent as many of those as possible.
When he says he wants to get together with you guys in the offseason, I mean,
Oh, that's done already.
Huh?
That's done already.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's something you guys are all in.
Absolutely.
You guys beat Pittsburgh, and then the stuff at the end of the game happened. How big a hole did that blow in the season?
It did. It was tough. We lost one of our best players on the team. But other guys stepped up in coming weeks and played as tough and played as hard as they possibly could. But obviously losing a player of Miles' caliber for the entire rest of the season is definitely something that hurt us a little bit. But I think we still had opportunities to win games without him throughout the season. And a lot of these games, besides the Arizona game, didn't really get away from us. We had opportunities to win.
Jarvis, Joel last week said next year's put up or shut up. Odell has talked about 2020 is going to be a big year for him. Is there already that sense of urgency for you guys need to take that leap next year?
Yeah, it's here. It's here. A lot of these guys, like I said, you got a lot of guys in this room, talented guys. You've created the locker room that you maybe have never had before, and now it comes down to everything else. And finding the right coach is a start, and understanding that a lot of this is about players. It's about the players that you have and the leadership.
Yeah, but is that sort of what it comes down to, the guys in this locker room?
Absolutely. But again, I felt like this year, we were put in positions to be successful, but we just didn't have a lot of the opportunities that I wish we would have had.
There's been a lot of focus on the negative with this core group. What area of success are you happy with that gets you excited moving into the offseason for next year?
Just the guys that we have returning. We have an opportunity to get Miles back. Pretty much, everybody that's here. We signed JC back throughout the season. So pretty much everybody that you see in the locker room has a chance to return and be a part of this with the experience of the last 2 years what we've been through, to be able to push us into the playoffs and to ultimately our end goal, which is the Super Bowl.
Odell said yesterday you and him have talked about 2020, and does that excite you when you just get together, the two of you, and kind of discuss what you can be?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing now that the offseason is here is getting these injuries behind us, getting fixed, taking care of them, instead of, ripping the Band-Aids and the tape off and, really getting it fixed. And then, from there is getting as strong and as better as possible throughout this offseason to make sure that, guys aren't talking to the media like they talked to the media after we played them this year.
Do you think it's important for Odell to be here for OTAs, or is that strictly a decision he has to make?
I think that's a decision that he has to make, but ultimately he's a professional, and to have the injuries that he had this year and still, go over 1,000 yards, do the things that he's done, coming back at 100%, I mean, I love to see it. I can't wait to see it.
If you have surgery, do you know how long that would keep you out for?
No, right now it'll be 6 to 8 months.
Really?
Yeah.
Jarvis, when you look back on this year, what will you remember most?
What I remember most, just the guys in this locker room that never gave up, that never quit, even when there was nothing to play for. They came to work and they always gave it all they had, and that's something that I'm grateful for and respect every name that's above these lockers for.
as you take a step back, are you as shocked as the people outside that a team with this talent has 10 losses?
Yeah. You know, it's disappointing. You know, I firmly believe that, you know, a winner's mentality and having a winner's mentality is something that's huge. And, you know, when you lose, it's a disappointing thing, but also seeing, you know, trying to find a positive in it, trying to find ways to get better and things like that. So I think that looking ourselves in the mirror, looking myself in the mirror, first of all, and trying to find a way to move on and get better from it all is the most important thing.
From the standpoint, Mayfield's the #1 overall pick. Anybody who has that needs their QB drafted #1 overall to be a franchise quarterback. Baker, I think most people would agree, had a real tough year. But what do you see in him that might suggest that he still can be the franchise quarterback?
Well, he's tough as hell. He's tough. You know, he's tough as hell. You know, and you know, he shows up each and every day with the same mindset. He's never wavering. You know, he continues to try to lead and be a leader for us, vocally or by example. You know, whatever way possible, and that's something that's special to myself. Being 6 years in, he's only 2 years in. He's still a rookie, but he's growing at the position. You know, he's continuing to grow. He wants to get better, and that's the most promising thing.
The inaccuracy issues with Baker this year, I know a lot goes into each play, but he seemed more accurate last year than he was this year on a consistent basis. What was in play there in terms of him not being as accurate as he would like?
I don't know. You know, I think again at times there's things that from a receiver standpoint that we could have done to help him out, and besides that, you know, quarterback's a tough position. It is a tough position, and again, he's gonna find ways to get whatever he needs to do corrected to make sure that you know, we're gonna be successful. You know?
Jarvis, 6 to 8 months recovery would wipe out your entire offseason. Is surgery then a last resort in your mind?
Yes.
And it could be corrected without, or you're going to find out?
We're gonna find out Friday.